It's your boy, the one with the scar on his face, your boy Scarface. And I want to welcome you guys back to another episode. Happy New Year's, by the way. Today's New Year's, or when you guys might be watching this, it's New Year's. But, I just wanted to get on here and just appreciate all the support you guys have given, the podcast and just been supportive with the TikToks and all that. So, I wanted to jump on here and tell you guys I really do appreciate you. I wanted to do an episode for New Year. So, here we are. Because, like I said, I want to be consistent on giving you guys these episodes every day. Or not every day, every Monday. Not every day, not yet. Maybe later, not yet. But thank you guys for all the support. If you guys are listening to this, like wherever you guys are listening to this, Spotify or YouTube, give us a thumbs up, leave us a 5-star, whatever you can. It helps the podcast out, to get out to more people. So thank you guys. And if you guys want to keep supporting, we do sell these pins as well. Link is in the bio. Sleeping Goku, straight razor, and baseball pin. So I also have a new one coming out here soon. It's based off of Scarface, obviously. So definitely stay tuned for that. That should be out soon. And there was one. Oh, Stephen Dating and Training. Yeah, I know you see it. So definitely, like, if you guys are into, shout out to everybody who has purchased the what's it called? The hoodies. I don't know why I'm like struggling talking. It's because I'm trying to monitor everything right now. Hopefully, I'm actually in the process of moving some stuff. That way, like, I can get like a somewhat little bit different studio setup and where I can monitor everything in front of me, which will be a little bit easier. That's why I keep looking to one side, because I have the mixer off to my left, the camera, and then a screen off to the right or in front of me. So, but I want to thank you guys. If you guys want to get one of these hoodies or any of the merch, shout out to everybody who has gotten the merch. Link is in the bio. Definitely check it out. And I just wanted to get on here and, kind of go over this year, some of the ups and downs, things we've learned, things that we won't accept. Obviously, I did that whole episode on things we will not accept in 2024 anymore. So definitely go check it out. It's the episode before this. It came out on Christmas. Shout out to everyone who listened to that one. But overall, this year has been great. It's been amazing. It's just how much the social medias have grown. Obviously, I went through the whole issue of my other account getting suspended, so I went through that whole issue, which, trust me, it sucked. But on that podcast episode, I also talked about it. I said, if I really want to do this is like the universe telling me, if you really want to do this, run it up again. And you know what we did? We ran that shit up again. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody. I still get messages to this day, almost like not twice, more like 4 or 5 times a week, saying like, hey, what happened to you? Hey, like, not a message. It could be a comment. It could be a message. It could be something. So shout out to everybody who keeps finding the page. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make a backup account, which sucked in time. But right now I made a Spanish account, so that can technically be a backup account. I'm going to try to be posting a lot more on there, just all Spanish content as well. Shout out to everyone who's followed that one. It's also linked. But yeah, I talk about it a lot in the TikToks. Just taking some time and focusing on yourself goes a long way. People instantly like, oh, am I ready to date? It sucks dating. Stop focusing on the dating part. Like, why are you so in a hurry to get back out dating? Why? After my last relationship, like I said, I was going to take some time and just focus on me. Of course, along the way, there was like maybe a potential, maybe, we'll see where this goes. And it went obviously nowhere. But for the most part, the priority was me. Like focusing on me, getting myself better, doing a whole lot of things that social media was able to grow. The podcast was able to grow. My business was able to grow. I've been able to like surround myself with the right people, and I've been able to grow in various different ways. Like, it's crazy how much my life has changed since I started focusing on myself. And that's why I always tell you guys, focus on you. If it's tough out, take some time. If it's the dating world's not ideal right now for you, take some time for you. Like, there's no hurry, focus on you. This is the time where you can focus on a side business, a side hustle, pick up new hobbies, try things that you couldn't try because the person you were with didn't want to try them. there's a bunch of different things you can do. You know, the worst thing you can do is just keep putting yourself out there and getting the wrong people or finding people who just waste your time. So just focus. And again, take me as an example, how it's worked out, it's grown, it's life has changed and it continues to change. And, you know, today, no, actually yesterday, you know, it was something I wasn't really talking about too, but there was like more that I wanted to add to my, like what I can do. So shout out to Anthony for over at Top Notch Real Estate for pushing me to do this and, you know, supporting. I myself am now a real estate agent. I took the class, took the license, like fingerprints, everything. I'm just waiting for the fingerprints to come back. That way they can just be like, you're good. So this is a podcast exclusive. I'm not going to share this on social medias yet. So if you listen to the podcast, guess what? You just found out. And this is what I mean. I've just been like grinding, hustling, always learning like things I can do, new things I can implement, you know, and like what can I do? Where can I make more money? What can I do to grow myself? And I've been doing a lot of work for Top Notch and just seeing like the amount of money they can make, the investments, the passive income, like all this stuff. And I was like, why don't I get involved in it too? Of course, I'm not going to be doing the whole like buying, like I'm going to go show you all these houses unless it's close family or friends. But it's mainly to do like referrals, listings, and things like that. Something that's going to not take so much time out of my day because my days are already jam-packed. It's going to take a little bit less, but it's just like more money. Like, and then what happens is like you figure out what's going to make you more money and you eliminate the things that are making you less money, right? And so you stop focusing on those and you start focusing on what's bringing you a lot more money, right? And so that's why like I always tell people like you need to niche down on whatever you're doing because there's so many family photographers. There's so many like people who do that. But instead of like figuring out where there's a need and a high demand, do that. And that's what I did. And like, that's why like some people are just still doing this as a hobby. And mine turned into a full-on business, like career. It's evolved into various different things. It's just crazy. And that all came from me focusing on myself after my last relationship. So that's why I say focus on you, do things for you, follow those dreams, those goals that you wanted to do before now that you have a little bit more time. So that's something that I really want to push on you guys because a lot of people, I get it all the time in the lives and stuff. People are like, what should I do? You know, it's the dating sucks. Like, how do I find go find a good person? Like, stop looking for these people. Keep doing you. And I always say it too, like eventually, hopefully somebody comes along in your world that's going to mesh with you a lot, you know? And then like just stop. I gotta reiterate it like over and over, tell you guys over and over, stop looking for people. Do you, focus on you, and you'll see like your life completely change. That's if you really work at it, you know, not necessarily just saying like, hey, like do this and it's gonna work out. No, you gotta hustle and grind. There's a lot of other things involved in it too. But this whole year, it's just been crazy, insane. The amount of growth, the amount of like new people that have came into my life, because people are just seasonal too, you know, like don't be afraid to have people who are just seasonal. And what I mean by that is like sometimes you know these people, but you may outgrow them. You may just be not necessarily outgrow them, but you're focused on something different. So your guys' like schedules really don't align because you're focused on this, and you know some other people aren't focused on that. You know, so I was actually having a conversation with my buddy John earlier, and I was like, "There's very, very few people like laser focused like myself." You know, and like I'm not trying to toot my home, but like my ass is focused on what I want, what I need to do to get there, and I'm gonna get there. Yeah, we were having that conversation earlier. He's like, bro, he's like basically saying like nobody matches that, like what you're doing. And I don't stop. And I shared this thing on Instagram yesterday, and it says, it was Alex Hormozy talking about how he's like, I just work. He's like, I work, go to the gym if you want to count that as a hobby. And like I work and go home, I work and go home until like my work output is like slowly, drastically like lowered just because you get fatigued, burnt out, whatever the case may be. He takes a little bit of time for himself and then goes right back into it because he loves doing what he does, you know? So it's not like a job, meaning like we've all worked those jobs where you just like, fuck, you know, like I got to go to work. When's the day over? When's this? When's that? Like, I need to look for something different. I need to do something different. They don't pay me enough. Like, we've all been through those jobs, like, you know. But when you find something you love to do, you just see like it grow and grow and grow, and then you can do it all the time because it's not like a job to you. Like me, I do client stuff, I do my stuff, and like literally my days are jam packed. That's why people are like, "Oh, you probably got a bunch of girls." I don't have time. Like right now, I don't have time. Yes, I've gone on dates. Yes, I've hung out with girls. Yes, I've talked to girls. But that's not my priority. That's like the first red flag, the first boundary path, or like something. I'm out. I'm out because like I'm focused on me, and you know it's good and bad. But for the most part, I think it's good, just because like I know what I want and I'm super laser focused for it. And this all came from like also reading books, listening to podcasts, and all sorts of stuff. Like, yeah, I listen to music and stuff like that too, but I switch it up. Like I taken all sorts of stuff. Like sometimes I get burnt out of like entrepreneur type of based like podcasts. So I listen to like some funny ones, you know, and like just different stuff. But even the funny ones, you still learn new things. So that's why like when I have conversations with people, like I can sit down and have a conversation with them. You know, I may not be an expert in the field, but you know, I can hold a conversation. So I mean, it's just like I said, it's a lot of things that I've learned over this past year. You know, ups and downs, clearly, just like everybody else. It's not always just ups for everybody. You know, we all go through downs, even though like, I mean, I'm pretty transparent over, you know, social media, basically, like what goes on with me. So that's why like you guys know like ups and downs. Like last year this time I was going through the whole like girl said she was pregnant, like saying it was my kid and this and that, you know. And then of course 2023 I talked to a couple girls, didn't go anywhere. But that's why like I've always just been focused on me, and it just grown, you know. And just the things that are coming in like 2024, like I mentioned earlier, I got my real estate license, so I'm going to be focusing on getting leads through that too as well. And on top of that, doing, you know, I decided to, you know, jump on over full time basically with Top Notch Real Estate and do their content, just because like I see their vision, where they're going, and I want to be part of it, especially when they're growing. That's when you want to get in. When somebody is growing, that's when you want to get plugged in. You don't want to plug in when they're already grown, because then it's harder to get plugged in somewhere. But if you plug yourself in when that company is growing and you help it grow, that's why some people like they go from here and then to here, and you're like, oh, how'd you get there? Or you just know him because no, he was there. He plugged himself in early. So that's why like I see their vision, and I'm also want to start pushing real estate. I'm not going to stop the TikToks. I'm not going to stop the podcast. Absolutely no, sir. It's one of my top priorities. And then just being healthier in 2024 is another thing for me. Is I started Monday. I started doing the carnivore diet, which is basically like it's like a keto diet. Like you don't eat no carbs, but it's mainly just like a lot of protein, a lot of meats. You know, the past 2 days, my head was just pounding. I didn't know if I was just like I was sick or anything like that. So I messaged my buddy who was also doing it, and he's like, yeah, I went through that too, and also went through like the whole you get the runs and stuff. It was weird, but he just said up your water intake, electrolyte intake, and he's like, you should be good. This morning, feel amazing. The past 2 days it felt like shit. Head was hurting. I just felt like everything felt foggy, you know, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? But it could just been like body releasing those toxins, you know. So today I feel fucking great. Excuse me. Well, I was drinking. Shout out to Prime. Uh, but it just, I'm excited for this year. Hopefully you guys have created some sort of vision board. Like, I know what I want, right? I don't necessarily need to make a vision board because I know what I want. And I don't have like crazy a shit ton amount, like things like I need this. No. Like, I focus on a few things, and then I just hustle. One of my goals for 2023 was to obviously get, what was it? It was like 75,000 on TikTok, 50 million views, which I would have clearly passed if it wasn't getting suspended the other time. So the reason the other account got suspended wasn't so much because of what I talk about. So I used to do work for a knife company, and TikTok is real sensitive about weapons. And so anytime I would post a knife, I would get community guideline violation, and not every time, but the majority of the times. And so at that time, I wasn't really focusing on my TikTok, so I really didn't care, right? But then once the TikTok started doing good, then, I started learning on what I can and can't say, mainly because like some videos were starting to get muted. That's why like sometimes you won't hear me say like sex, vagina, dick, like porn, like just all those words I don't say. I just like shorten it down. I just say S. They have S, their D, their P, their cat or something like that. Is because they were muting my sounds. And so I learned that obviously from the first account. But the final straw was I was doing a TikTok live and somebody jumped in and they were like, hey, have you ever tried the Amazon position? And me, the curious individual, went and looked on my phone because I have two phones, right? One a business phone, a personal phone. And I was using one phone for the live, and then I had the other one, looked it up, showed the live, and they were like, no, it's not that one. The person is turned around. And mind you, this was stick figures. Like, you know how on, what's it called? Bathrooms that has like those stick figures? That's what it was. Like, it was just like stick figures in the position. And then after I showed it the second time, suspended my live, saying that I was suspended for a few hours. I appealed it. They gave it back, went live again. And I was just like saying basically, oh shit, I can't do that. But then within like 2 or 3 minutes of being on live, my entire account was just suspended. It just said you are no longer accessed, is permanently suspended. I tried appealing it. We appealed it for a while, and that sucked. During that time, I was just like, fuck, like all this work, all this for it to just to get suspended, right? And but I was like, nah, I can do it again. I did it one time. I know how to grow a profile now. Like, I know what I need to do, and so that's why, like, again, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, it's the universe telling me, like, if I really want to do this, I shouldn't complain about doing it again. Like, I know how to do it now. Like, I learned what people like to see, what people like to hear, how things like should be. It's just like trial and error. You learn when you should post, when you shouldn't post, when people are on, when people aren't on, when people like the spicy stuff, when people don't like the spicy stuff. Obviously, like, you don't want to wake up at 8 a.m. and get a video saying like, hey, like, I love to get slapped. That's more towards like the night when you're laying down in bed. So, you learn different things like that. But then since I knew how to do that, this profile that I have now grew faster than that other one did while I was learning at that time, if that makes sense. So the other one got suspended at 80. This one, I have it's like at 40. What? I can't remember. Let me check. 43. So clearly would have been like at 120, around there, which sucks, because obviously that number looks nicer, but we'll get there. We'll get there. This next upcoming year, I have a lot of things planned. Like, I'm gonna go do a podcast again with Jackie, which that should be in January. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited for that. And hopefully make some more content. There's some other people I'm gonna meet up out there to create some content too. So we'll be doing that out there. And see, that's what I mean. Just like up and downs, like obviously like other ups and downs too. Like I mentioned, I was talking to a couple girls and obviously it didn't work out, which sucked. But it happens. Shit happens. You can't just sit there and like dwell on it and like sit there and like, oh, this sucks. Dating. No, I was just like, all right, cool, whatever. Keep it moving. Mainly because like I've already been single for so long. I've seen what I can do, like the potential. And that's why like next year I want to do even more. So that's why we got to get the body right too, like eating good. The carnivore diet, I'm only going to do it for 6 months, nothing crazy. Just because that is a diet that you can't maintain for a long time. But we trying to look like a snack in the summer, okay? So that's why like 6 months. And again, I talk about it all the time. I'm never like, oh, I'll start it New Year's. Oh, I'll start it. No, I was like, all right, cool. We're starting it today. When was it? Christmas. I was like, no, we're going to do it. We're going to start it right now. Started it. And here we are. Christmas was what? Monday. Today's what? Friday. Been doing it for a week. Feel great now. You know, obviously it hasn't been that long, but we're going to continue on it. But this goes along like the same, like one cheat meal a week, which will be on New Year's Eve, you know, because some family gets together and stuff like that. So, and maybe have a few drinks and just like reward yourself. So if you guys don't have like what you want to, I hate when people share that thing where they're like, 2023 was the warm up. 2024 is when we kill it. What in the fuck were you doing all 2023? How was it a warm up? Like, I don't understand that. Like, what did you do? Like, you're just like all year, you're like, yeah, I'm just going to wait till this year's over. And then 2024, I'm just going to, no. Like, what were you doing all 2024? Like, seriously, be honest with yourself. I know I was killing it. I know I was hustling, grinding, doing stuff, always everywhere, here, there. People were like, damn, like, I saw you here doing this, doing that, nonstop, won some awards, like nonstop. And I don't plan on slowing down either because when I do feel like I'm getting maybe a little burnt out or something like that, kind of like Alex Hormozi, take a little bit of time. And what's helped me is like taking like these trips every now and then. Like January, I'm going to take one. And then there's also another one that I'm going to take with the Top Notch team. We're going to go up to Island Park cabin. You know, it's going to be cool. I'm going to get some footage of that, so stay tuned for that. Don Omar is something I'm looking forward to. And then I'm sure in the summer I'm going to do some other stuff too. You know, I don't plan on stopping. And then I think that's what helps me because I go and I just hang out and like just relax. Of course, I try to do some work wherever I go. But again, when it doesn't feel like it's work, you just do it, you know? Like, I never gone and filmed with Jackie and felt like, oh my God, like I'm here working. I just want to relax. No, that shit is fun to me. You know, I like doing that stuff. So figure out what you want to do in 2024. Don't wait until like the end of 2024. And 2024 was the warm up. 2025 no, you're just going to keep doing that shit every year. Because you're going to see it. People are going to share it. 2023 was a warm up. 2024 is when we kill it. And I'm just, the same thing is going to go through my head. What the fuck were you doing all 2023 that you couldn't have done something? So, and then I also, like, I have written down, like, the goals that I want for the TikTok. Just, like, the amount of what I want to hit. Obviously, like, sometimes my numbers may feel a little out there, a little like a little high, but that's okay. Just because like I feel like I can hit it, and it just takes a lot of consistency. You know, constantly posting, constantly recording. Like I don't think there has been a day I have not posted something on TikTok. You know, because I sit down, I record a bunch of questions for you, or answer a bunch of questions, and then you know I sit down, edit them, chop them up, you know, and then share them on TikTok. So it's a longer process, but I like it just because. One, I'm not doing it with a phone, so obviously the quality is there, the audio quality is there. I have good lighting. It just looked aesthetically pleasing because I always ask people, hey, what do you like about them? Like besides the content, and they're just like, it looks good, it sounds good, you know. And that's the equipment that I've invested into it, just specifically for the TikToks. This is not stuff I take for clients and stuff, and this is just so I can leave it for the TikTok stuff. Like the mic that I have for my TikToks. These are the podcast mics, not my TikTok mics. My TikTok mic is over there. The thing costs like $800, right? But it's an investment, you know, because I want to stand out. Meaning, like, yes, somebody could come along and try to replicate what I'm doing, but it might not look the same, might not sound the same, And at the end of the day, they can't be me. I feel like I'm a little out there. So, I mean, there's that too. You can't buy this. So, I mean, unless you want to. I do sell myself on holidays, Valentine's Day, stuff like that. So if you want to book me, reach out. Figure out what you want to do, especially if you're single right now. Plan some things that you want to learn, or a side business, or you want to do some schooling for something. There's literally, you can monetize a lot of stuff, right? Like there's people who I've seen killing it with selling mat or lashes, doing lashes, having their salons, doing hair, providing some sort of service, products, it's endless. Like the thing is, like, somebody will start something. Like, for example, I just got my real estate license. Do I expect for people to be like right away and be like, do this, and that's what people expect? No, it's going to take me maybe a few months before I start getting some leads. Like with outside of like the sphere, obviously there's some people that I know that do want to do some sort of work, and obviously I'm going to hit them up and be like, yo, I'm ready to roll. Let me know when you're ready. But it's not like people are just going to throw themselves at you. Like when people start, I've seen it time and time again. If the shoe fits, sorry. People will start boutiques. And then, yes, family and friends will help you out the first release, first month, whatever the case may be, right? Just because they want to be supportive, help out. But then after that, who's your client? You got to put in all this work to get clients. And that's something that a lot of people do not want to do right now is put in that time and effort to get the clients. And then they start posting on social media. It's like, it's funny how like friends and family don't support you and things. They did, but they're not going to buy from you every time. Like there's only so many things that you can buy. Like if someone's selling shirts and stuff, like, and you have the same shirt, what makes you think I'm going to buy another one? You know what I mean? Like now you have to find your clientele. You have to find those people that are going to buy your shirt, and they're going to be people who you don't know. And so that's things that people don't want to do, like, especially like if say you want to start a podcast, go for it. I always help people. I always tell them like what I use and things like that. But at the end of the day, like your first few episodes are going to be crazy amount of listens. Why? Because friends want to see what you're talking about. People want to see what it's nosy people. Everybody wants to see what it sounds like, what it looks like, what you're talking about. If you're cringy, like they just want to judge you, right? But then after that, they just go down because they're like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, I'm not going to listen to it. But that's your job to get your audience. For example, Rod, I had him on the podcast a while back ago, shout out to Rod. And he told me, he's like, hey, like before when you did your podcast the other way, when it was like more entrepreneur based, he's like, I would listen to it all the time. He's like, but now this, what you talk about now, he's like, it's really not my cup of tea. He's like, I really don't listen to it. And I was like, that's fine. And I totally respect that he told me that because obviously there's an audience for it. The amount of listens it gets, the amount of downloads it gets, like on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Like, so I'm just like, that's cool. It's not for you, And the same thing goes for me. Like when people have stuff is I'll try to support it as much as I can. But if it's not my cup of tea, why would I listen to it? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's not, you didn't target me as your target audience. You targeted whatever you made, and it's not me. Like, I like listening to a lot of entrepreneur things that talk about certain things, like Patrick Bet-David, some Joe Rogan episodes, the Diary of a CEO. There's a bunch of different ones. And then when I get tired of those, there's like the funny ones that I listen to. Like right now, I'm heavy on Theo Vaughn. I love his comedy. But you know what I mean? Like you have to know it's not gonna blow right away, and you just have to put in that work. I know I can rant sometimes, but it's worth it. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I first started the podcast, it would get like very little listens, or when I first, just when you start anything, it's not gonna be crazy. Like when I started doing media, like I didn't start necessarily to like make it a company or like do it for clients. It just led to that, but that didn't happen. Like I bought the camera and then the next day clients. No, it took time. Probably hear the vacuum because I think they're cleaning. But I think the biggest thing for 2024, like if you want to take anything from this podcast, is just have some sort of goal. Like not crazy amount of like, you know how when they make the vision boards, like don't make like 20, 30 like different things. Just pick a few things and be like, I'm gonna really focus on this, and then just like figure out what you need to do. Stop saying like I need to do research. That's a fucking excuse. Find out what you need to do, plug yourself in, and make it happen. Like that's it. Anything else is an excuse. Like if it's a money issue, you can get money from people, you can save up some money, and like that. But people try to find different barriers like to stop them. Oh, I can't because of this. Oh, I can't because of that. Oh, I can't because of this. Oh, I can't start this because I don't have enough money for the course. How much do I have to put away so I can take the course and like say it starts in July, right? And you figure that stuff out. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for an amazing year. It's been great. Just the amount of support from you guys, from like just listening, liking, sharing the podcast, the TikToks, you name it, everything. Showing up to the meet and greet, buying the pins, the shirts, the everything. Like you guys are fucking amazing. And I don't plan to stop on 2024, so definitely do not see me stopping one bit. And we're going to continue doing this. So I hope that you guys also pick a few things that you guys want to do and let's kill it in 2024. Like there's no excuses. The only excuse is the excuse that you make. Anything besides doing something is an excuse to me. I'll just tell you that right now. Like if you tell me like, oh, I can't do it because of this, why? What's stopping you? Oh, that barrier? Why can't you get over it? Oh, but you can do this. Yeah, but why don't you? It's more, you get it. Again, thank you guys for an amazing year. I'm excited for 2024. Hopefully you guys are excited for 2024. Focus on you, heal yourself. If you're going through a breakup, divorce, whatever the case may be, focus on you. Take me for an example. Been focusing on me for like 3 years and shit has changed my life. And I'll tell you that right now. Anyways, I'll see you guys later in 2024. Come for y'all. See you guys.